Right now at 6, a utility company here in the metro area is about to cut down dozens of trees in Mooresville.
And that has a homeowner frustrated tonight since those trees are around his home. Duke Energy says this is part of an effort to clear trees from power lines and prevent outages.
Tonight, RTV6's Nicole Griffin explains what you need to know if you have large trees near power lines in your yard.
You can see survey stakes all along this Mooresville yard, marking the area where Duke Energy plans to hire a contractor to come in and clear every single tree within their easement.
This is a green ash tree. The next one's a maple.
In the front yard of his Mooresville home, Bob Stewart can identify every single tree. That's because he planted them over the last 30 years with his mother.
Every time my mother came to visit, she would bring a different tree. So we enjoyed that time together planting them.
But in the next 2 weeks, each tree within Duke Energy's 50-foot easement near its power lines will be cut down.
Counting the woods would be in the hundreds. In the front yard, there's 20 trees.
It's all part of Duke's vegetation management program to make sure trees aren't falling on power lines, which is the #1 reason for outages.
If we don't do that, then we are subject to a fine of $1 million a day for not maintaining our right-of-way.
Bob tried to fight back against Duke Energy cutting down his trees, but the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission ruled in Duke's favor. They stated they do have the legal right to clear their easements to the fullest extent.
All the trees in our front yard have been here for 35 years at least, and they've never said anything about keeping them trimmed, remove them, or anything else.
Now Bob is hoping by sharing his story he can help educate others on where they should plant their trees and the rights they have when it comes to the utility company's easements.
There's a lot of people that don't really understand where their easement is. I do agree that some of the trees need trimmed. I don't agree that they need to be cut off level of the ground.
Moving forward, Duke wants people to consider where they are planting trees on their property. Make sure to keep large trees like oaks or maples at least 40 feet from power lines. Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
Thanks, Nicole. And before Duke Energy cuts down trees, they do notify homeowners and take into consideration their concerns. But they did say because of the federal rule and the $1 million fine for tree-related outages, the vegetation program is becoming more strict. So what about IPL's policy? Well, they also have a tree pruning and line clearing program. During routine work, they will trim and haul away debris throughout the year. But in emergency situations, IPL does not clear away the debris. This includes after a storm. That is the customer's responsibility. In that case, IPL recommends you contact your insurance company to see if they can cover the cost of hiring a cleanup crew.
Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast. We can see more strong winds again this weekend and snow, but right now we're enjoying relatively mild weather tonight.
And Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is tracking what's ahead as we prepare to bring February to a close, and we're not closing down the cold weather at all, Kevin.
No. Hello March comes with cold temperatures. We'll get into that in a second. The wind is out of the northwest now. You've probably noticed a recent temperature drop. We made it into the 40s. We're falling into the 30s now, and temperatures in the morning will be in the lower 20s. Bye-bye to those 40s. They're being pushed out of the state to the southeast as colder air comes in from the northwest. 30 in Lafayette. Temperature in Indy, half a dozen degrees warmer than that, 36. Now, here's your headline as we go to the weekend. Sunday snow. It looks like several inch potential central and southern portions of the state. We wake up between 7 and 10. It looks like snow overspread central and southern Indiana. And the best chance, I think, for the heavier amounts will be to the south, at least on the latest model runs. What comes after the snow? Very cold temperatures, single-digit temperatures, and what you're looking at right there, not the coldest temperatures in my forecast.
Well, tonight, Hawville neighbors are feeling like they are getting their neighborhood back. The positive changes in this West Side neighborhood come after police bust a major drug gang. Working for you, RTV6's Derek Thomas goes along with the police chief as he looks for more ways he and the city can help get this neighborhood back on its feet.
Need our neighborhood back. Why is that, sir? All these drugs and guns and everything, we need our neighborhood back.
Area residents are glad police made the significant drug arrests. But what now? Those dealers leave behind families that have no income.
My team and I reached out and we were able to talk to all of the families, and a lot of the women are needing help with, they're pregnant, they have babies coming, they need help with prenatal care, resources for employment, counseling, grief counseling.
That point was driven home by the chief.
If you continue this behavior and the violence around it, we'll be there. But if you want to get out of it, or those people that are associated with it but not necessarily participatory, there are some services for you.
Senior citizens who've been around the neighborhood for a long time have seen a change since the drug bust.
It was real bad. But now, you don't see as much. And you see the police more, and I think that's helping a lot.
I think the police are on their toes, and I know when they ride through, because I watch a lot out of my window.
That resource fair on Friday will be held at the Christamore House. The executive director feels a good vibe.
The fact that the mayor's office and IMPD think that it's important enough to come to the community after the recent large drug bust that happened in the neighborhood, I think is definitely a step in the right direction.
Those steps around the community are a show of solidarity and commitment. Drug dealers stay away. Families, we will help you. Derek Thomas, RTV6.
Thank you, Derek. And that resource fair on Friday at the Christamore House is from 10 until noon. The first 40 people receive $25 gift cards from Aldi's supermarket.
Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb is reiterating his support for a hate crimes bill with a list of protected classes. This comes as Republicans in the House and Senate are showing support for a bill without the list and instead a more vague statement in law. The bill was amended earlier this month in the Senate to remove specific protected characteristics and replaced with the words including bias, leaving it up to judges to determine what that means. With the legislative session at the halfway point, Holcomb said today is still too early to discuss vetoing anything. He said he'll be pushing for Hoosiers across the state to contact their legislators in support of a specific list in the law.
I'm going to encourage them not to stop with me, not to just write me. They got my vote, but they need to contact the legislators that vote their legislator respectfully and appeal to their hearts and minds why this is important, not just to them, but to the life of our state.
Holcomb also said he wouldn't rule out testifying himself in support of a list in a House committee hearing.
A sexual assault expert is weighing in on a Call 6 investigation into workplace harassment in Indiana state government. Our Kara Kenny found the number of complaints among state employees has doubled since 2017. But what does that really mean for victims and for our state? Kara joins us now with what she uncovered.
Here in the Call 6 office, we're all about numbers. Our investigation found nearly 200 state workers filed workplace harassment claims just last year. That's double the number of complaints filed in 2017. We asked Governor Holcomb about the spike.
We were increasing the awareness.
Holcomb asked Attorney General Curtis Hill to step down after several women accused him of sexual harassment.
But we're not going to tolerate it. It's zero.
Hill maintains he's innocent and has not resigned. Dr. Jennifer Droback is a professor with the IU McKinney School of Law and a nationally known expert on sexual assault and harassment. She says increased awareness does lead to more claims.
When institutions make it clear that they will deal with sexual harassment and other discrimination complaints, then complaints tend to increase because people feel like there's a reason to complain.
Call 6 Investigates found of the workplace harassment complaints filed in the last few years, 55% of the time state personnel found inappropriate behavior. But Governor Holcomb says state policies and procedures do not need to change.
No, what the changes that need to be happen come from the individuals who feel like they've been wronged, and they need to step forward, and the process will play out.
Which is a bit problematic because it verges on a blame the victim mentality that, well, the only problem here is that victims don't come forward with complaints.
Droback says the state and other workplaces should focus on training, monitoring, and good management of employees.
You need to pull your workplace and have eyes and ears on the job that see whether or not the problem is continuing.
Droback says for the state's 30,000 employees to feel encouraged to come forward and file harassment claims in the future, perpetrators must be held accountable.
Numbers may go down because sexual harassment targets and victims may see that there's no point in complaining because nothing will get done.
Kara Kenny, RTV6.
RTV6 is working for you, getting results, new developments in a neighborhood with sewage problems.
Also ahead here, former Scotties employees ask for our help getting back pay. What we found out today.
IU fans finally had a night with a good ending. Later in sports, a look at the Hoosiers' big win and what's in store for them next.
And cold temperatures arrived not just for the weekend, but it looks like they stick around a while through about the first 2 weeks of the month. And we have snow in the forecast. Remember, our biggest snow last winter came in the month of March. We'll be back.
At Ashley Home Store, this is home. This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Welcome back. Key Bank is closing several of its central Indiana branches over the next few months, but the company says it's not cutting jobs. Today, Key Bank announced it would shut down 16 branches in the area, keeping 19 others open and adding ATMs at more than 4 dozen locations, mostly at Kroger stores. Key Bank says all of the employees at the branches that are closing will be offered the chance to transfer to another branch, which will boost staffing levels at their remaining locations. And RTV6 is working for you. Scotty's Brewhouse, Noblesville employees will be paid. Last week, we told you the story of how those employees were informed by email that they would not be paid after the restaurant closed earlier this month. But after interviewing several employees, including Jamarcus McLeod, who were struggling to pay their bills, there was a reversal of that decision. McLeod thinks our story made that difference.
I think so. At this point, it's all about saving face and, you know, treating your employees that's been there for you for years, working under that company's name the right way. And, you know, nobody deserves to be treated that way. And I feel like, you know, they did the right thing.
Brewhouse Noble West LLC owned the store, but Pots and Pans Productions was operating it.
Our Hiring Hoosiers initiative aims to connect you with a variety of job opportunities to find what's right for you. Have you thought about law enforcement? Well, there's a big push by IMPD to fill open positions in its department. We talked with a retired officer and a newer officer to give you a better perspective of what it takes to serve. Sharon Franklin just retired from the department after 28 years. She says the most rewarding part of the job was being able to talk to neighbors and community leaders who really care about making their city a better place for all of us. She's being replaced in the community relations area by Officer Simone Willis. Willis was hired in 2014 and tells us about some characteristics that make a good officer.
Somebody that is definitely community driven, somebody that has a heart for the people that they want to serve.
IMPD is budgeted for just over 1,700 police officers. Right now, they're at 1,663 officers and are expecting more retirements soon. So the department is launching a bigger initiative to attract new talent, hosting hiring events, and raising pay. Under the new pay scale, first-year recruits will make $51,000 per year instead of the current $39,466. If you're interested in becoming an officer with Metro Police, we have a link for you to apply, plus more information at hiringhoosiers.com. Still ahead tonight on RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers report at 7 o'clock. The jobs of today matter, but so do the people who will fill them in the future. How schools play a key role in preparing our future workforce. That's coming up at 7 in the Hiring Hoosiers report.
And RTV6 is working for you and getting results. Last night on the news at 11, we told you about some West Side residents dealing with sewage leaks in their neighborhood. The folks who live there tell RTV6 the sewage comes out of manholes that are just a few feet away from a creek that flows through the neighborhood. The sewage in that area is managed by the Ben Davis Conservancy District. A spokesman for the utility followed up with RTV6 today and says they checked out the problem and saw that it's an issue they say they're going to raise and seal the manholes better so sewage cannot seep out, and that they expect to have the work started in the next week. Kevin.
6:17 on the button. Well, let's talk about Sunday. That will get more and more attention as we work our way toward the weekend. Several inches possible. Not ready to put a number on that. Would it be enough to shovel? Yes. We averaged 2.6 inches of snow for the month of March. We may exceed that on Sunday. Heaviest potential is in the southern half of the state, and this will go into northern Kentucky. If you're traveling down toward Louisville or Lexington, they don't handle the snow as well as we do. That will be a southern snow headache, windy and cold as well. Here are your temperatures. First half of the weekend, the cold air is just trying to arrive. It does make it in time for that moisture with temperatures in the 20s during the day on Sunday. At least there's no ambiguity about what type of precipitation we'll have. Snow is forecast, and again, we'll fine-tune the amounts in just a little bit as we go the next 48, 72 hours. Temperatures Monday morning, you get a new blanket of snow. We've got cold temperatures on the way, single-digit temperatures to start the work week, and the coldest morning comes 24 hours after that. Tuesday morning, lower single digits, not out of the question. A couple of spots, if we get decent snow, may go below 0. Right now, there's your dividing line between colder air arriving and the mild temperatures departing. Louisville's at 61 right now. Kentucky, Covington, Cincinnati Airport area 57, while it's 28 in Champaign. That colder air will come in from the northwest during the day tomorrow. Lots of clouds, haven't been able to shake that much. Temperatures will be